Welcome to the Crypto 101 Show, the best place to learn, understand, and grow with your cryptocurrency education for all ages, starting with the basics to help you get a solid foundation with all things crypto. What is the Fediverse, and how does it pertain to crypto? I need to start off by saying this is not financial advice, so if you're looking for that, this show isn't for you. The content of this podcast episode is for informational purposes only. The opinions expressed here are not meant to be taken as financial investment or any other advice. I think we've all heard about the recent takeover and purchase of Twitter by Elon Musk. With this, there's been quite a bit of users leaving the social media platform and looking for something new or an alternative. This is where Mastodon comes in, a decentralized social media network. Before we talk about Mastodon, let's go over a few things to help clarify. As the crypto world keeps growing and evolving, there's a lot of interest that gravitates new users and developers to it. In particular, decentralization and blockchain technology that's evolving the Web 3.0 movement. We talked about Web 3.0 in a previous episode, and the Fediverse is something that's becoming a part of that. Many users, organizations, and companies believe the centralized web isn't working anymore, that it's time for something different. A lot of users of Web 2.0 are waking up and becoming aware of the power a handful of companies have amassed through the centralized nature of the modern web, Musk being a big example. Many of these users are now turning to a decentralized alternative. The biggest reason for this is users want to own their data, and the other is freedom. In episode 23, we talked about Web 1.0 being read-only, Web 2.0 being read-write only, and the newest, Web 3.0, being read, write, and own only. With over 5.5 million registered users already, and over 500 million posts ranging from photos uploaded to status updates in the Fediverse, this is how the future of the internet is evolving. The Fediverse is made up of a network of interconnected servers used for social media, blogging, file hosting, and other modern web activities. The name is a merger from the words federation and universe. This is the decentralized internet, if you will, with no central point or server, but a group or collective of servers working together. The best way to think about this is how a government can be two types of organizations, either centralized or federated. Centralized means power concentrated in a central location, like the Federal Reserve is the central bank of the United States, where federated means the power is spread out across many states or localities, or also known as decentralized. And with designing or using Web 3 or a web service, we're faced with the same decision. This is what the Fediverse is. The Fediverse is a network of interconnected servers that communicate with each other based on decentralized networking protocols or rules. And these servers can be used for any number of different services, such as social media, web publishing, or even file hosting like video, music, or image apps and sites. Using a Fediverse service isn't like signing up to use Twitter or Facebook. You don't create an account with it. The Fediverse services are not single websites at all, but pieces of open source software that allow anyone to run their own social networking service using that particular software's functions. Some of the biggest services are Mastodon, like we mentioned before, and Pleroma, which are both similar to social networking and microblogging. And there's PeerTube, which is a video hosting platform similar to YouTube. There are also new challenges and learning curves to this with owning your data. While the Fediverse provides users and instance owners with greater control, it also means that users and individual instances must manage their own operations and security. For example, users and individual instances are responsible for mitigating distributed denial of service, DDoS attacks themselves without help from a centralized governance, because there is no centralized protection. And to clarify quickly, an instance simplified is a server which comprises part of the Fediverse. With Mastodon, it's an open source microblogging server that resembles Twitter in many ways. First came Mastodon.social, the instance run by the creator of the software as a proof of concept. Then more and more people started setting up their own instances. This brought together Mastodon Network Monitoring, which was to watch the evolution of this network. Some instances are for general purpose for users to gather, where you can pretty much find users of every kind. Some instances have a particular theme associated with them, like cyberpunk, LGBTQ culture, the Fury fandom, Star Trek, cryptocurrency, or just about anything else you can imagine. There's no strict policy to adhere to the instance theme, but they do ask that you at least have something to do with it. It is actually common for users to have multiple accounts on multiple instances, which are called aspects. Some people prefer to only talk about certain things on certain instances. Also, instances can get reported by lots of users for doing something bad or uncool, and the instance can be defederated for it, which means that other instances will reject any traffic from and will no longer send any traffic to those instances. There's a lot more in depth to this and the Fediverse culture, but you get the overall idea. Many of you probably have the question, how do we get started using the Fediverse? If you are interested in exploring this, there's no particular browser to use, no complex technical instructions to follow, and nothing to buy. You have to go to instances.social and create an account for each instance you want to be a part of. Whether the Fediverse is a good or bad thing is up for debate. Freedom and data ownership can come at a cost sometimes in some way, but only time will tell how this new internet transforms the digital world. On that note, I want to be extremely upfront that I try my best to leave all of my opinions out of this. I know this is very condensed and simplified, but I want you to gain your own understanding of beliefs and not be persuaded by me. I hope this episode was insightful and helpful. If you have questions you would like to ask about anything pertaining to crypto, please either DM the show via the Instagram or Facebook profiles, or use the email address provided in the show notes with your question. Remember to share, follow, and subscribe to our mailing list and your favorite podcast app for future episodes so you can gain more with your crypto knowledge. Thanks for listening and see you next time. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Crypto 101 Show. If you'd like to join our email list, email us at thecrypto101show@gmail.com. For more helpful tips, subscribe in your favorite podcast app so that you don't miss our next episode.